Hello everyone, my name is Rohan, I'm a wedding photographer and today I'll be doing a quick review of the Nikon ZFC. Let's talk about the build quality and the overall look and feel of this camera. I really love the overall look and feel of this camera. It's very small, it's very light. It has a magnesium alloy body which is quite light and sturdy. It's an aluminum finish body. The dials have a really good tactile feel to it. This camera is inspired from the legendary Nikon FM2 film camera and it has the dimensions very close to it. All the controls including ISO, shutter speed and exposure compensation can be controlled by the dials given on the top. It also has a dedicated record button on the top. It is really helpful when you are into movie making or when you're doing a vlogging using this camera. So this camera comes in 6 different colors. My personal favorite though is the classic one, which I love the most. It will be really useful for all the people who are interested in traveling, nature photography or street photography. So this camera is currently being launched with 2 lens options. One is a 28mm f2.8 lens which is currently mounted on this camera. The other lens is the kit lens, which is a 1650 f3.5 to 6.3 crop sensor DX lens, which is specially designed for this camera. If you see this camera, it looks like a retro film camera, but it has all the modern aesthetics, all the modern features imbibed into this. To start with, if you see the mount, now this has a Z mount, which can be used with any Z mount lenses currently available. We can even use the FTZ adapter and adapt our F-mount lenses onto it, and it works flawlessly. Okay, the other biggest difference you will find in this camera is the newly introduced fully articulating screen, which can be used for your vlogging. Okay guys, we are at the Marina Beach, Chennai, and I'm currently vlogging on the Nikon ZFC. The articulating screen is really helpful to check out whether we are in focus, and it helps me to check out my exposure as well. It can be used for scenarios where you want to go really down from a low angle or from a top angle at the same time. Now, this is really useful, especially when you are shooting videos or photos and you want a different perspective. Now, this camera can also be used for your live streaming purpose. It can connect to the Nikon web utility and it can perform as a web camera for all your video conferencing and live streaming. Now, why I say that this is a perfect travel camera is because it also has the option to charge it using USB-C power source, probably a power bank, or if you have a socket in your car and you are traveling, you can very well plug in your USB-C cable and plug this camera to it. It will charge the camera. You don't need a dedicated charger on the go, and it is very handy when you are traveling around the globe. This is a perfect combination of a retro looking camera and the modern technology which we have in the mirrorless world. Say for example, this camera can be connected through Wi-Fi to your smartphone using the snapbridge application. You can use that application to transfer photos, videos on the fly to your smartphone, and at the same time, if you want to upgrade your firmware, you can very well do that by connecting it to your smartphone. Now this camera comes with a 20.9 megapixel CMOS sensor, which has some great ISO performance. The native ISO goes till 51200 and it has an EXPEED 6 processor, which makes this camera really fast in most of the situations. It has the latest mirrorless technologies, including the IAAF, which works really well in both photo and video mode. The focus points are spread across 87% of the sensor, so it covers essentially the whole frame when you are shooting photos and videos. Personally, I am very excited to use this camera. I'll tell you the reason behind it. My father, my grandfather, they used to have their film cameras, and fortunately I have it along with me. I used these cameras and I really loved the tactile feel of it, the overall feel it had, and that was something which was missing in the current market. I was waiting for such a camera, which thankfully has been launched by Nikon, and I'm so happy that I got one in my hands.